Hello and welcome back to episode 85 of St Albans FC Take to the Skies. We're in the final game of the season and we have secured survival. Just before we get into the review of the fixtures, if you have enjoyed this season, please do leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment predicting what you think we're going to do next season. I think we've got a long summer of transfer wheeling and dealing ahead of us. Since the loss to Derby County, we drew 2-2 with Huddersfield, which was a bit worrying because they were one of the teams in the relegation battle with us. And then Ipswich beat us 4-0, another team that were in that battle. And then lost 3-2 to Nottingham Forest, which wasn't as concerning. They're challenging for promotion. I think they've actually been promoted now. And then we had a draw with Middlesbrough, who were bottom of the table, already relegated. So again, a little bit concerning. But then lost 2-1 to Burnley, which was incredibly unfortunate because we were leading and it was a really soft penalty that they got late on that won them the game. We then did beat Reading 2-1, which was absolutely massive for our season because they were the team in 22nd. So a loss to them would have been potentially detrimental to our final few games. We then got a draw 0-0 with Charlton, which secured our safety. We then lost 1-0 to Swansea, which not too concerning. They've got quite a good team. Then we beat champions Brentford 4-1. Don't know where that came from. Maybe it's just because they were champions and they just they did make like 10 changes in the game, so it might be that. We're in 19th, as you can see here. 52 points. Reading are gone on 37. We've got a chance to move up a little bit with our final game against West Brom. Hopefully we can do that. And tactics-wise, you'll see why I'm going through this screen in a moment. We've got Anang in goal, a back three of Ari, Bradford and York, Barrow, Dunlop, Brown and Fawn as the middle three, and then Sheldon, Devani and Bennett as the front three. We've gone back to the 3-4-3 for the last few games of the season. I think the only one we didn't was Ipswich because I wanted to try and secure... Oh no, that was 3-4-3. Nottingham Forest was the 3-1-4-2 because I thought they're a team that are, as I say, promoted. Now this is where an admission comes in. I completely forgot I was recording this episode and played until half time. My bad. We're 3-0 up, so we'll show you the goals. So we had Barrow breaking down the right-hand side, gets a ball into the middle, Devani latches onto the end of it. Fantastic finish from Devani to put us 1-0 up. But didn't think too much of it. Just under 20 minutes later, Brown has the ball on the left-hand side, gets a cross in, Sheldon nods it into the air, Devani heads it into the bottom of the net for 2-0. And I'm thinking, this is going well. 8 minutes later after that, Brown clears the ball away, Devani nods it onto Sheldon, and he runs through in space, and bit of poor goalkeeping, in my opinion, but puts us 3-0 up at half-time. Normally, I'd be very annoyed about starting a game that I was meant to be recording, but it's the final game of the season. It doesn't mean a lot, so I'm not too bothered by it. And we've got a season review to do, so we'll just tell them that we're very happy, and I'll show you the second half. How's that? We've got a throw-in on the left-hand side. Barrow throws it straight to Liddell, who heads away, but Dunlop goes back to York. Forward to Dunlop. Barrow, with a chance to play a ball through, doesn't take it, takes it down the wing, drills a cross in, and Brown is there to finish and make it 4-0 against West Brom. This is a team that are in the playoffs, and we're beating them 4-0. If we can get some consistency from new signings in the summer, we could be challenging the playoffs ourselves next year. Barrow with a corner now, goes towards the far post, but Bennett is beaten in the air. Jimenez has collected it for West Brom and is breaking away. He's being forced down the outside by Fawn, who's given away a penalty. That was a bit rash. Surridge steps up and just about scores the penalty. West Brom have got one back. We need to be careful. We don't want this to get out of control. But I think, for one, we should still be okay. We just need to be aware of it. Barrow throws the ball in from the right-hand side. Sheldon instantly gets dispossessed. Akinyemi goes down the wing to Mur. Barrow's back tracking with him, and cross goes towards the far post. Liddell's been found, and I think that was the bar. Brown's then beaten to the ball. Akinyemi sends it back in, but Ari heads away. Devarney's collected it. Goes on a long run past his man to go down the wing. He's tackled by Clark, and the ball rolls out of play for a corner, though. Barrow's now going to send this corner in. Goes towards the far post. Bennett's beaten in the air by Surridge. Dunlop collects it. And can he get past his man? Gets a cross in, and Jimenez clears it away for a corner. Barrow's going to send this one in. Is it going towards the near post this time? It is. And York's there, and King makes a fantastic diving save. We're going to make changes now. We're going to send Hill. In fact, we'll give Dunlop a bit of praise as he comes off for Dominguez. Ari can come off for Gray. We'll send Sharp on. No, we'll send Vukaj on for Fawn. Just give those two guys that are on loan a moment to have a applause, just in case they're not back here next year. Devarney staying on the pitch because he's on for a hat-trick. Free kick played short by West Brom. Brecklin goes across, and it's shot just low and wide of the goal. Very late on now, West Brom have another throw-in, but Vukaj clears it away. Bennett's latched on to the other end of it. One-on-one with the keeper. He's chipped the keeper, and Bennett gets his 20th of the season. 5-1 away to West Brom. And just think, next year, we've got our own stadium to do this in. We're finally going to be back in our own ground that we own. It's going to be our fans. We're going to have a bigger stadium as well. If we can do this away to West Brom, what can we do at home? And we end the season with a fantastic 5-1 win. At least one goal for each of our strikers. Sheldon has really shone towards the end of the season, and he may have secured a place in the lineup for next season. Means we move up to 17th. However, Peterborough haven't played yet, so they could move back above us with a win. So 17th or 18th, though. Very nice finish for us in our first season in the Championship. Here we are, the season review for the 2030-31 season. Our 10th year at the club. Let's have a look at what they've got to say. We're not going to pay too much attention to this screen. As always, I'll just flick through and you can have a look at what the grades were. They don't really mean a lot in terms of the game. As you can tell there, they're unhappy that we sold Ivan Wild, who was doing nothing for us. Same for Shaquille McAndrew. It's just rubbish, that screen. Season results. So, we were expected to fight bravely against relegation. We instead finished 18th, so Peterborough did pick up a win on the final day, which gets a B- for the board. I'm happy with that. 98% average at home attendance, which is part of why we're going to be very happy in our new stadium next year. Devarney, the top goal scorer, with 22 goals. In the FA Cup, they expected us to be competitive. We got to the 5th round, so that gets a B-, and we were unlucky in that 5th round as well. Carabao Cup, they wanted the 2nd round. We only got 1st round, but they're okay with it because it was Fulham that we drew. Moments to remember, biggest win, of course, that 5-1 win that we've just seen against West Brom. Match to remember was our 3-0 against Rotherham from last October. And the goal of the season going to Mensa for this goal against Bristol City. 87th minute from very early on in the season. I don't remember this at all, but it was August of the season, so that was recorded a couple weeks ago probably. It's just a big run forward from Mensa. I mean, it's a good goal, but all he's really done is run in a straight line and put it in the net. I think it's a bit much to be goal of the season, for me personally. Finance-wise, not much club reputation change. We get slightly more on our sponsorship. Big increase on the broadcast revenue. And again, relatively big increase on corporate and hospitality. Massive on competition prize money, but matchday, commercial and retail is down, surprisingly, actually. Shirt sales, 3,404. I believe that's the first time we've broke 3,000 shirt sales. Makes us £271,000, with Bennett, Brown, Barrow, Moanga and Sheldon being the most popular ones. That's unfortunate for the people buying Moanga shirts. How we lined up, it's got our 3-1-4-2 with Anang, Bradford, Ari and Gray. Mensah as the holding midfielder, Knight, Dominguez, Brown and Vukaj, and then Tavani and Bennett up front. Brown being in there is very questionable because he only played 15 games. Vukaj and Fawn you could have either way. I think similar to the defence, you could have him quite a few different combinations. But other than Brown, I think that's a very fair formation. Picked up the Sky Bet League 1 Manager of the Year. A little bit odd. We did that last year, but sure. Fans Player of the Season was Tavani, also the young player of the season. Sign of the season going to Anang, the goalkeeper. And top goal scorer, Tavani with 27 goals in all competitions. Bennett with 9 assists and also did get 20 goals himself. Most Player of the Match awards was Tavani, highest average rating, of course, Tavani. Given that this is the 10th year of the save, I think it's a good time to have a look at our all-time best 11. It's still going with the asymmetric formation from the early days of the save. So it's got Jamie Emery in goal. He's now retired, age 26. We had Ashley Harper, who's now retired, age 28. 196 appearances he made for us. Daniel Phillips, who's still with us now, he's picked up 8 goals from centre-back. Then we've got Tommy York, who's picked up 10 goals from centre-back, 242 games. I'd be surprised if we've had anyone make more appearances in this save. And he's very well deserved to be on there. Left back, we've got Longello, who picked up 19 goals in 125 games. He was often on the wing, to be fair, but if you're playing the asymmetric formation, you'd struggle to have anyone else on that left-hand side, bar maybe Kai Sanders. Holding midfield, we've got Torre, which is, again, understandable. He's been with us for years, picked up 7 goals along the way, and he's been a rock with us. He's still here today. He still gets the occasional appearance. Right-hand side, we've got Napa. That's the first one that kind of stands out to me as being a bit questionable. I would probably have... I say that. We've changed the right-hand side a lot over the years, so maybe he's probably one of the more long-standing guys that have been out there. In the middle, we have Pring, which, fair enough, no arguments there. 19 goals, 116 appearances. I thought it was more than that, if I'm being truthful. In attacking midfield, we've got Taraj. If you're going for a number 10, there's not many other options because we haven't played with that for years. I think personally you probably move Taraj out of it and have... I mean, at this point, I think we should be swapping this to a 3-4-3. Left wing, we've got Mafurin. At this point, I think Vukaj should be in that slot. 17 goals from Mafurin. Admittedly, he scored more than Vukaj, but I think Vukaj has done more for us overall. Up front, who else would it be? Tavani, who's picked up 102 goals in 168 games. Ridiculous output for him. And Edward Bennett on 95 goals. That's why we need a 3-4-3. We need both of them in that best 11. Elsewhere, we've got Kennedy on the bench. Fair enough. Quinn, I'm quite happy to see him there. Sanders, absolutely love the guy. He retired age 29, which is disappointing. I really did like Sanders as my left back. Vukaj we've already covered. Josh Smith, retired at age 26. And Nasingi, who's currently at Doncaster. So Fulham took a big loss on him after they took him from us. I think we got some of that to us. But could we now potentially steal him back? I wonder. We're going to scout him and see if we can bring back the front three of Tavani, Bennett and Nasingi. Is that a bit too weak for the Championship? I'd argue not, because when they were tearing up League 2, they were all very young players. They're only going to have got better now. So I think if we can get Nasingi in, we could have that front three in the Championship. They're probably all at that level now. So it could be very interesting if we can do that. Initial budgets, we've got a wage budget of 110,000, transfer budget of 368,000. So that gives us about once we release some of our players, gives us about 30,000 to spend on the wage budget. And then, of course, the full transfer budget. I'm sure we can find something with that. I expected it not to be too big because we have built a stadium this season. So that's fair enough. They want us to fight bravely against relegation again next season. So I personally am going to be aiming for more mid-table, but we'll see how that goes. And we're allowed to go on a pre-season tour. We'll go to the Algarve in Portugal, go and let the players get a tan while we train. That's the season done with. February was fantastic for us, just looking very quickly at the schedule. What a time we had in February. Next year, I'd like to maybe be somewhere in a playoff battle, even if it's just top half of the table. That kind of can result in us being in a playoff battle would be quite nice. It depends what we can do with a relatively small budget. One quick thing before we do go, if we look at our salary per annum, look at the difference here. Burnley, 48 million. We spend 4 million. You have to double ours to get to Charlton above us. How were we ever going to compete with Burnley and Derby? I don't know. Burnley and Derby, only one of them can go up. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Coming down, we've got Sunderland, Bournemouth, and then either Villa or Blackburn. So it'll be interesting to see what teams we get back in the Championship with us. Surprising to see Sunderland all the way up in the Premier League in some respects. So since the start of the save, they got promoted first season, got relegated, got promoted, and then they've only just got promoted to the Premier League. They've come straight back down with 8 points. That's the worst Premier League season ever. Well done, Sunderland. It was worth getting promoted. They didn't win a game. They literally played 36 games so far. They haven't won one. Please don't win one. That would be hilarious. If you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like. Comment what you think we can do next season. Where do you think we need to strengthen? Diwali, second top goal scorer in the league. Subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.